We are back at Daley Plaza. Picture this in your mind. The shots have been fired. The president's limousine had just sped away. Okay, it's just taken off. Mass confusion in Daley Plaza. Well, within minutes of those shots being fired in Daley Plaza, police immediately surrounded the Texas School Book Depository where they believed the shots came from. And if you looked in those videos we showed, that still video when they talked about Clint Hill being on the back of the limousine, you can see the Secret Service agents, after the first shot, Kennedy's hands to his throat, and they're looking back towards the Texas School Book Depository. So there was little doubt in anyone's mind where the shots came from. So just within minutes of those 3 shots being fired, as Kennedy is being expressed to Parkland Hospital, police surround the Texas School Book Depository because that's where they believe those shots came from. Well, on the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository, Dallas Deputy Sheriff Luke Mooney discovered a sniper's post at the window in the southeast corner of the depository. So within minutes of the shots being fired in Daley Plaza, police surrounded the Texas School Book Depository because they believe that's where the shots came from. They searched the building, and on the 6th floor, Dallas Deputy Sheriff Luke Mooney, there's a signature of his up there with the depository at the top. Luke Mooney discovers a sniper's post at a window on the 6th floor in the southeast corner of the Texas School Book Depository. So he's up on the 6th floor in the southeast corner, which if you look up the depository up here, it would be the top, not the very top window, but the second one down in the front. Okay, that's where he finds his sniper's post. Here's what he finds. It's a Texas School Book Depository, so he finds cartons of books stacked up to provide a rifle rest out the window. So if this is the window where I'm standing, there are books stacked up right here that someone could rest the rifle on towards the target. So Deputy Sheriff Mooney discovered several cartons of books that were stacked up that would have provided a rest for a rifle. So Oswald shot the first shot for sure with the rest. And who knows what he did afterwards, but he certainly could have recoiled and put it back on or whatever, just so you know. Now, also sitting on top of one of the cartons used for the rifle rest, and this just explains Lee Harvey Oswald, when we get into this you'll get it, was a half-eaten piece of chicken. So he's up there eating chicken and puts the half-eaten piece of chicken down in time for him to shoot the president. That just kind of gives you an indication about this guy. And when we talk more about him in the next test material in the interrogation, you'll get more ideas about how eccentric this guy was, okay?
Seems like a trained assassin.
Well, it's just, yeah, when you know the guy, you'll figure it out. Now, unlike what most people believe, from the sniper's post to the place where Kennedy was shot, 88 yards, not a real long distance, 88 yards was the distance between the sniper's post and the presidential limousine when the president was hit. What else did what else did Mooney find by those cartons? Anybody want to guess what he found? 3 spent shell casings that looked exactly like this. This comes from the rifle. Go ahead and pass it around. It comes from the rifle that was used in the assassination. So he finds this sniper's post, and in the vicinity of those cartons, 3 spent shells. Okay? Now this is where we start getting some characters involved you really need to know, so you need to take good notes here. At 12:58 p.m., Dallas Police Captain John Will Fritz, a guy we will talk about a ton in the next few weeks, Dallas Police Captain John Will Fritz arrived at the steps in front of the Texas School Book Depository. At 12:58 p.m., Dallas Police Captain John Will Fritz, and we'll refer to him as Will Fritz from this point on, he arrived at the front steps of the Texas School Book Depository. At that time, at 12:58, when Dallas Police Captain John Will Fritz arrived at the steps of the Texas School Book Depository, Deputy Sheriff Mooney, who's on the 6th floor, leans his head out the window and signals to Captain Fritz and Dallas County Sheriff Bill Decker. Where was Bill Decker at the time of the assassination? He was in which car? Lead car. So that tells you that the lead car did not go where? To Parkland. Okay. So at 12:58, as the Dallas Police Captain John Will Fritz arrives at the front steps of the Texas School Book Depository, Deputy Sheriff Mooney hangs his head out of that 6th floor window where he found the sniper's post, and he signals to Captain Fritz and to Dallas County Sheriff Bill Decker. And he told them, hey, I've located the area where the shots were fired. Okay? So he leans out the window, signals to Captain Fritz and Dallas County Sheriff Bill Decker, and he advises the two men that he had located the spot where the shots had been fired. That happened at 12:58. So what do those people do? They go up to where the shots were fired. Okay? At 1:22 p.m., as they search the 6th floor, police officer Eugene Boone, this guy right here, Eugene Boone, he stumbles across what? What's he find on the 6th floor across the room? The rifle. Finds the rifle. So evidently Oswald shot it, and then as he departed, he dropped it across the room. So again, at 1:22 p.m., across the room of the 6th floor, police officer Eugene Boone finds a rifle. Okay, finds a rifle across the room. Okay, the rifle you have a picture of was an Italian-made 6.5 millimeter Mannlicher Carcano, very commonly used in World War II. So the rifle was an Italian-made 6.5 millimeter Mannlicher Carcano. Very, very common, used in World War II. Looked a lot like this. Almost identical to this. Okay? And we'll tell you a long story about this rifle when the time comes. There's nothing in it, kiddos. Okay? So at 1:22 p.m. across the room of the 6th floor, police officer Eugene Boone finds a rifle similar to this. This is a 7.35 millimeter, which is a little different shell. His is a 6.5. I have a 6.5 at home. However, I'm going to get this scope mounted on that rifle, which would be the exact rifle. But, I mean, there's nothing in it. We'll open it up. So you can pass that around in school and take a look at it. Now, this is, yes. We're going to get to that. He's on the run. But we're getting, they don't know anything about it. They never found out about the Walker assassination attempt until after Kennedy was killed. It's a great story. Well, after they found this rifle, a police lieutenant by the name of J.C. Day was summoned to the 6th floor. So when this rifle was found, a police lieutenant by the name of J.C. Day was summoned to the 6th floor. And here's a picture of J.C. Day, lieutenant. Here's a picture of him with the rifle. We'll tell you what his role was, okay? Again, I'm pretty proud of the fact, if you look up at the board up there, you will see, one more, here you go, pass it back. Here's J.C. Day right here, signature of J.C. Day. So as soon as that rifle was found, Police Lieutenant J.C. Day was summoned to the 6th floor of the museum. Now when he got there, he did these 3 important things. As soon as he got there, he did 3 things. First thing he did is he photographed the rifle. Look at that, a multitasker. Okay, he photographed the rifle. Second thing he did is he noted and wrote down its serial number, which is on the sheet I gave you, C-22766. Second thing he did, is he noted it and recorded its serial number, which was C-22766. And this is kind of weird, but it was standard procedure in those days. The third thing he did is he scratched his name on the stock. And at the time, that was a standard police procedure for marking evidence. So he's marking the fact that he photographed it, he took down the serial number, and he witnessed it by scratching his name on the stock.
You know who owns like the actual gun?
It's in the National Archives. Yeah. Now, as we go on, pay attention here. What would be the first thing you would do if you were the Dallas police once you rushed in that building, found the sniper's nest, and found the rifle? What might be the first thing you'd do?
Find him.
What's that?
Try to see what he did.
Well, you don't know who he is yet. It's a good thing. So what's the first thing you do? What's that? You close her down and you get a list of all the employees that work there to see if any of them are gone. So after all this went about, the Dallas police shut down the depository building and took an inventory of employees that were currently working there to see if any of them were gone. So they count all the employees. And when they get down with that count, guess how many were gone? One. And that employee's name was Lee Harvey Oswald. Okay? Barrel up there, Lloyd. Okay? So, after their count was completed of all the employees, there was one employee missing, Lee Harvey Oswald. All the rest were there and accounted for. Go ahead, give her a shot there. Now, right after that, what would you get once you found out that Bailey Gibbons was gone? What would be your next thing you would do? Well, before that, do you know what Bailey looks like necessarily? You don't. Police don't, so you'd get a description. So the next thing they did is they obtained a description of the shooter from the 6th floor. Guess who gave him that description? You'd think maybe the boss or a regular employee. It was an eyewitness by the name of Howard Brennan. Howard Brennan gives the Dallas Police Department the description of that guy. How could he give the description of that guy if he's not working there? He saw him somewhere, where? Not running. According to Brennan, he saw him on the 6th floor fire the final shot. That's what Brennan claimed, that he was below on the street and looked up and saw this guy fire the 3rd shot. That's what Howard Brennan said. He was about 107 feet from the front of the depository when he looked up and witnessed the final shot. And he gives a description of that man, and what do the police do as soon as they get that description? They relay that to all police officers in the area. They put out an APB on this guy to try to find this guy that meets the description of not only Howard Brennan saying he saw him shoot the final shot, but the only missing employee. Okay, they want to see if they match. So you think about this. The Dallas Police Department gets a lot of crap for screwing a lot of this stuff up if you read documentaries, but you think about this. Within 1 hour of the shots fired, the Dallas Police Department had accumulated these 6 things. And you listen to the 6 and tell me if you think that's shoddy police work. So within 60 minutes of the shots being fired, these are the 6 things that the Dallas Police Department has. 1, they have the sniper's post, right? They know where he shot from. So they have discovered the sniper's post. What else had they found at the boxes? 3 at the boxes. 3 spent shell casings. So they found the sniper's post. They found 3 spent shell casings. Then they found what across the room? Number 3. The rifle. Now this will go back a little bit next to our next topic, but keep up with me. They also found brown paper with gun oil on it. More than likely it was used to wrap up the rifle so the person could bring it where? Into the depository. So they find brown wrapping paper like they used to do for meat that had gun oil on it, and they thought at that point, and probably so, more than likely what the person used to get it in the depository. I used a blanket to get this in here yesterday late. So you just don't walk in with this stuff, right? And neither did Oswald. He just walk into the gun. He walked into it, they assume, wrapped in this brown paper that has gun oil. They found that. They also had a description of the suspect, right? They not only had the description, number 5, they also had his name. So you think about it, within 60 minutes of the assassination, the Dallas Police Department had a sniper's post, 3 spent shells, a rifle, a brown paper with gun oil on it that more than likely the rifle was wrapped in. They had a description of the suspect and his name. That's pretty good police work in 60 minutes. So if anybody says to you, or you read documentaries, they stunk it up, really they didn't. Now that takes us to Nick's question. The next subtopic is, what was the route of Lee Harvey Oswald after the shooting? Where did Lee Harvey Oswald go? Okay, the route of Lee Harvey Oswald after the shooting. What time is the president shot? Final shot? Around 12:30? At 12:31, 1 minute later, at 12:31, a Dallas police officer by the name of Marion Baker ran into the Texas School Book Depository with his pistol drawn. As soon as those shots were fired, he knew exactly where they came from, drew his pistol, and was in the depository within a minute. So at 12:31 p.m., Dallas police officer Marion Baker ran into the Texas School Book Depository with his pistol. Anybody want to guess what his role was in the motorcade? What was he doing in the motorcade? No, he was in the motorcade. He was one of the motorcycle guys. Not the ones we mentioned, but he was one of the many motorcycle escorts. And basically, he dumped his motorcycle on the grassy knoll and ran into the Texas School Book Depository with his pistol drawn. He was one of the several that were right behind the president's limousine. Okay, Cody, let's stick that up in the air. Not in Blaine's ear.
Look down the barrel.
We're going to get in trouble when this is posted. But anyway. Now, Officer Baker claimed that he had heard the shots coming from the depository, and that's why he raced in there so quickly. Well, once he got in the depository with his pistol raised, the first person that Baker ran into was a guy by the name of Roy Truly, who was the superintendent of the Texas School Book Depository, which means he was the guy that ran the whole thing. So as soon as Marion Baker gets in there with his pistol drawn, the first person he makes contact with is Roy Truly, who's the superintendent, or the boss, so to speak, of the Texas School Book Depository. Well, Truly grabbed Officer Baker and showed him a back stairwell where the elevators were, so he could get the elevator and get upstairs, because he thought the shots also came from an elevated position from what he had heard. And Baker didn't want to wait for the elevator, so what did he do? Ran up the stairs as fast as he could, with Truly following him. This is at 12:31 approximately. So once in the depository, Baker encounters Building Superintendent Roy Truly. Superintendent Truly leads Officer Baker to a back stairwell where the elevators were located, and not willing to wait for the elevator, Baker ran up the stairs with Truly following behind him. On the second floor, Baker looks, as he's going up the stairs, into a room through a glass door and sees a man. So as Truly's going up Baker's going up the stairs with Truly. As he passes up the second floor, he just looks through an open window in one of the rooms, and he sees a man in there. Well, what's he going to do when he sees that man? He's going to stop and confront him. And he confronts the man, and he turns to Superintendent Truly, and he says, "Do you know this man? Does he work here?" And Truly responds, "Yes, he works for me." So picture that in your mind. Marion Baker with Truly are running up the stairs trying to get up to where they think the shots came from, or at least Baker does. And on the second of 7 floors, they run into this guy that's in this room. He opens the door, Baker, and he looks at Truly and says, "Do you know this man? Does he work here?" And Truly says, "Yes, he works for me." So they left the man and continued to go upstairs. Guess who that man was?
So did they ask his name?
Lee Harvey Oswald on his way down. That's true. The man that Officer Baker ran into and asked Truly if he knew the man, and he said, "Yes, he works for me." That man was Lee Harvey Oswald on his way out. Quick, that's a little bit of conspiracy theory things he did. And you might after that. Who knows? Anyway, now here's the story. We told you they locked down the building, right? But they didn't lock down the building till 12:35, which means that Oswald left the building, it was estimated about 12:33, about 3 minutes after the assassination and 2 minutes before they locked the building down. And that's why they found him as the only missing employee, right? As I tell you this, I think, how could we be in a hurry and not tell you this information? Yep.
Were there no signs they could just shot someone? I mean, usually someone would be like trying to get out.
Wait till you hear about Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, if someone's like,
weird dude.
if someone's like,
Yeah. Well, according,
down the stairs and
you can talk about all this stuff. This all happened.
Yeah.
You think that Marion Baker was paying a whole lot of attention to what that guy was breathing like? Now, I'm telling you, I've been there. There's no question that you could get from the 6th floor out the front door in 3 minutes. No question you could do that. It's not that hard, okay? Now, here we go. Here we go. What did Oswald do? What did Oswald do? What's that?
So like, how was he not inside the sleep like that?
How's he not what?
In the stairs?
Yeah, how was he?
Yeah.
Maybe.
He ducked in the